just your reminder to subscribe. And before we get started, I want to give our guest this week a little shout out. Miss Bailey was way too humble to not even plug her up-and-coming makeup collaboration with Melt. And I gotta tell you guys, this palette is absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at these colors. The lipsticks are also magical. I'm trying out a new color right now. I think I just became a matte lipstick girly with this one. So thank you, Bailey, and be sure to go check it out. Enjoy the episode, guys. Bye. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're rolling on everything. Thank you so much for coming in and joining me.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
This feels iconic. I'm like sitting here, I'm like, God, your makeup is even better in person.
Shut up. It's not that good.
It's
I
so
feel like
good.
I'm a Monet. Like when you,
Monet.
yeah, from far away, I look really good. And then up close, it's like, girl.
No, I hugged you. I'm like, your pores, you have none. Where are they?
Really? Thank you. I tried really hard.
What primer did you use?
Today I used Milk Makeup. They came out with, their Hydro Grip?
I have the grip, yeah.
Yeah, so they have a bronzing one that I'm kind of obsessed with. You just put it all over your face before your foundation and you look flawless. I'm obsessed with it.
Add to cart.
I know, because Sephora
love
just
that.
had that sale, so I wasn't going to pay full price.
No.
So I was like,
Stop the
so I
cart.
waited for the sale and then I got it.
I love that.
Thank
Well, if you haven't recognized her amazing voice and beautiful face yet, today we are joined by Bailey Sarian.
Hi.
But I am so excited to have you. I have been watching your videos for a while now, and I just watched your recent one about the lady who had Otto in the attic for 10 years.
For 10 years, she had a quote-unquote sex slave in her attic.
I was losing my mind.
Me too.
And it just kept getting worse and worse. And I'm like, and you have Otto up there still and you got a new guy? I'm like, what? What is this?
I know. I felt so bad because the guy, she never let the guy out of the basement. And then in court, he was like, well, I wanted to be in the basement. And I was like, did you though? Like, what's going on?
He got psychologically.
And then he was
Yeah.
given the nickname Bat Boy because he lived in the attic.
I know.
And he would only come down to clean the house, cook, and then have sex. And then he would go back in the attic. And honestly, not a bad combo. If it's consenting.
Yeah.
If both parties are
Yep.
consenting, I would say that's a dream relationship, honestly.
The link for that one will be in the description, you guys, because it's so good. But you have such amazing content, and I'm really excited for these stories today and to get your takes on them. The theme I have, working on the title, guys. We'll see what it is when it comes out. But it's like, can they make up? Is there any chance of making up here? Because makeup. We got some makeup. We got some true crime. And we got some crazy relationship stuff that we'll see if they can make up.
I love that connection. That's good.
It's going to be a fun one. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, this first one. If you went to our LA live show, it might sound a little familiar, but I'm like, it's so good. I can't keep it in the vault forever. So it's coming from Am I the Asshole, a month old, titled, Am I the Asshole for continuing to wear makeup and dress in my normal style around a friend who thinks her husband has a crush on me? My 29 female friend, 31 female, has told me that her husband, 35 male, has a crush on me and has recently told her that he fantasizes over me.
Ugh.
This already makes me feel very awkward, but now she asked me if I can stop wearing makeup and wear baggy clothes around him. We went out for dinner last night at a reasonably expensive restaurant with a few others, 7 of us in total, and she texted me when I got home saying she was angry at me for, quote, looking hot after she asked me not to wear makeup. She's my friend, and I want to do the right thing, but there's nothing I could wear that is baggy that would have suited the restaurant we were in. Michelin star. My style is very conservative, and I wear a very average dress with heels. I've written out several responses, ranging from an apology to being quite rude, but I wanted to sense check my thoughts here before I go back to her. I don't want to make life difficult for her, but what she's asking for feels unreasonable. Am I the asshole?
She's not the asshole. No, that's so uncomfortable. That's very uncomfortable. I feel bad for her.
My skin crawls.
Why is your skin crawl?
Just like, can you imagine your partner going to you and saying, your friend, I have fantasies about her. I'm like, that's an inside thought.
I know. That's a diary. Get a diary, honey.
That's not something you share. It's like, are you trying to bring my self-esteem down to like,
right?
Like what's the purpose behind that comment?
I'm not sure. I don't like it. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed off.
I'd be so pissed.
But I wouldn't be mad at the friend.
No.
And I would not ask the friend to change her appearance or anything about her. Like, she's your friend for a reason. I would not ask my friend to change anything about herself. That's your husband needs to be in check, or your partner.
Yeah. It's so odd. And I'm like, I get being in like a bad relationship where it's like you feel like the only person you could control is your friend versus the husband. But like you said, it's not your friend's problem. Like,
no.
Get your husband in check.
Get your husband in check. What's he doing?
It's so
conversation. I think they need to sit down and talk about it. Not the friend, the girl and her husband.
Yeah.
And kind of figure out, like, is there something missing? Are you feeling a certain way? Do you want to be with her? Because if you do, go ahead. Like, we don't have to be together.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's between them. It's leave the friend out of it. Oh my God. But if I was the friend and my friend had asked me to like change how my makeup, my hair, my outfits, I'd probably just cool it and just not go around as much. It's kind of just weird.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't feel comfortable going over to her place anymore.
Right.
Especially if he's going to be there.
Right.
Like,
it'd just be weird.
There's no way.
No.
No way.
Mm-mm.
Top comment on this one. Total not the asshole. For one thing, I don't think it's possible to dress appropriately for a nice restaurant without looking hot to someone who already finds you attractive. And more generally, as long as you're not hitting on the husband or intentionally dressing provocatively to catch his attention, which it sounds like you're not, then this is a her problem, not a you problem. Here's another point. Why on earth did she tell you that her husband has the hots for you? Completely inappropriate. That's something to be handled within the marriage.
Agree.
As you said.
Yeah,
as you
it's
said,
super
Bailey.
Awkward. Like putting your friend in a really weird position. Hey, my husband thinks you're hot. Ooh. Okay. All right. Thanks. I don't know what to say to that. Unless like they're trying to have a threesome or something. But I don't know.
Really odd.
I guess she just wants her friend to be like a little house on the prairie or something.
Like, what is she supposed to wear? Like,
I don't know.
What do you want her in? A trash bag? Come on.
No, because that shows a little leg.
Oh,
so you have to do something that's fully covered. Like 2 braids and then pin them up. No makeup. Churn in some butter.
Mm-hmm.
Usually that.
Yep.
He might not want her then.
Honestly, I could see a bonnet coming into play because you can't show that either.
Yeah, so she should have wore that to the dinner.
Shut up. That would have been way more respectful.
Yeah, what a bitch.
OP responds to that top comment. Thank you for your response. Added a not safe for work because of the fantasy bit, but then chose not to elaborate on that part, so I've removed it now. I'm not sure why she told me either. The first time she said it was cute that he had a crush on me, and then she started getting a bit more detailed about it.
Ew. Maybe it was some kind of proposition, like, hey, like to see how how she felt about her husband fantasizing about her, to see like, are you interested?
Yeah. Because like if you start with a crush, like, oh, he's got a crush on you.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's no mention of this person having a boyfriend or like whatever, like no relationship. So it's like, maybe she was trying to broach it. And now that it wasn't reciprocated is now like,
it's just weird.
Well, now we got to shut this down.
Yeah.
Like we can't engage.
Right.
We can't encourage this crush.
Maybe. Just an idea. Just a thought. Or the friend is just really insecure. The woman.
I could see that too.
Yeah. There's so many ways it could go.
Well, we do have an edit.
Oh, yeah?
We get a little bit more detail.
I love it.
Thank you so much for all your responses. It's 4:21 a.m. here in the UK, so I will write out and send response tomorrow and we'll update you all on here. Sorry I can't respond to everyone. I didn't expect so many responses. Edit 2. While I was reading your response, he just liked an old Instagram picture from way back. A bikini picture.
The friend?
The friend's husband.
Oh, God.
He is now blocked. Final update, edit 3. I responded with the following to my friend. Quote, sorry it's taken me a while to reply, but I wanted to consider this properly and not react emotionally. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't think it's fair or reasonable to ask me to change how I look because of your husband. My advice is to speak to husband's name and work on your relationship because projecting your issues onto me isn't going to help you, but it will damage our friendship. You have nothing to be insecure about. You're the most beautiful person inside and out that I've ever met. I'm here for you if you want to talk through it, but ultimately, I can't help it if I'm smoking hot. Just kidding. XXX.
Oh my God. Okay, that was a very adult, great response. I love that.
I need to capture some of this calm.
It's calm.
Mature, kind.
It's mature. It's kind. It's like, hey, this isn't me. This is you.
Yeah.
Without being a bitch. That was really good.
Take notes, everyone. Take notes.
That's how you do it.
5 minutes after I pressed send, she knocked on my door.
Shut up.
She was already on her way. Showed up with a bunch of flowers and cried and gave me a hug while apologizing. She told me they were having problems and it was wrong of her to take it out on me. We had a long chat and I'm going to be there to support my friend. Thank you all for your input. You all helped so much. Additional info, I've had a lot of people messaging me asking if they can post my story elsewhere and a couple of reporters even.
Really?
Yeah. Wild. Happy ending though.
Very nice ending. I'm glad the friendship didn't fall apart because men come and go. Relationships come and go. Friendships, hopefully they can stay for a long time, you know?
You hope. And I think that's why friendship breakups, I really think they do hurt sometimes, oftentimes worse than relationship ending. Friendships just going to shit is it's so much stress.
It's so sad.
It really is.
It's like a chapter of your life just closing. It is like a breakup.
Yeah.
It's a chapter of your life closing and this person that knew everything about you, now they're just a stranger.
I know.
It's so sad. But I'm glad it wasn't like that for them.
I know. Really good.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, wait, when's the other shoe going to drop?
I know.
I'm like, it feels too good to be true a little bit, right, guys?
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be an update. Me and my husband got a divorce.
Yeah.
And
I will bet it comes. And I don't wish for people's downfall, but I don't think he sounds like a great guy.
He seems like he's looking. He's wandering.
His head's turning. To go like her bikini picture?
Yeah, that's creepy.
He's trying to plant little seeds and then slide into the DMs and hope he has a target that's not going to tell his wife.
Yeah.
Slimy.
You can't do that with a best friend.
Dude.
Ugh.
Ew.
Super gross.
Ew. This next one is coming from Am I the Asshole? It is titled, Am I the Asshole for telling my brother that he and his wife's Halloween costumes were tasteless? My brother, 26 male, is super into true crime. His wife, 24 female, humors him. This Halloween, although they couldn't host a proper party, they dressed up as Charles Manson and Sharon Tate. I told him ahead of time it would be tasteless, and he said they're just costumes. I ignored all of his posts during Halloween. I can't explain why, but it really, really bothered me. Probably more than it should have. I just don't think Sharon Tate should be remembered for the way she died. Anyways, his wife is pregnant, which is part of the reason why they did the costume in the first place. She's also blonde. He posted a photo of her with a nosebleed and said, channeling Sharon Tate energy. And I commented on the post that he should really back the fuck off of Sharon Tate at this point. He replied saying I'm no fun and told me to delete my comment. He's saying it's disgusting that I tried to humiliate him over someone who's dead and that I don't even know. He says he can see where it's offensive, but Sharon Tate won't ever see it, and I should stop making such a big deal. Even if I think it's wrong, he says my comment was inappropriate.
The comment?
Am I the asshole?
The comment was inappropriate?
That comment.
So inappropriate.
Back the fuck off.
Yeah. Jeez.
You did this to yourself, my dude.
That one's hard because obviously I'm in the true crime world and I've come across people who dress up as serial killers all the time. I see that a lot. I personally wouldn't want to do it. I don't really
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's right, but everyone is allowed to make their own decisions, you know?
I know.
So it's like tricky. I don't know. Like if my partner wanted to do that, I would shoot it down. This one's hard for me personally because I get it, but at the same time, I wouldn't do that. But if someone close to me did it, I'd be like, ooh, okay. All right.
Do you think like there's a difference? Because like I think a lot of people do dress up as killers. I mean, you see it a lot too, depending on like the Netflix cycle and what's out. Like I feel like when that Bundy show came out, a lot of people dressed up as Bundy. Like it was a big thing. But I'm wondering here if it's like, it's not so much the serial killer that's the issue, but then
the victim,
bringing the victim into it and dressing up as like a couple costume with the victim as the wife is also pregnant, which is just like,
there's just so many other pregnancy like costumes you could do.
There's so many others.
There's just so many other ways this could have went.
Why?
Maybe they're just morbid people. Like, does it make sense? Are they very dark, morbid people? And okay, it makes sense for them. Or is it just like out of left field? They go to church every Sunday and you're like, what the fuck?
Like, wouldn't have seen this one coming.
Yeah. What? So, I don't know.
I know. It's really, really odd. And like, I love true crime. Like, I am big into the podcast and all the YouTube stuff, but it's like,
not the victim.
Not the victim.
Like,
her whole story is so sad. And like, I don't even know a lot about it. I know you did do a video on Sharon. And so I am a little uneducated in that. But it's like, I feel like, especially like posting a photo with the nosebleed, like, there's so many better ways you could have gone about this costume.
Is there a picture linked? I'm so curious to see if
wonder.
there's a picture of the costume.
I wonder.
It depends, like, how gory they went with the Sharon Tate outfit. Like, if she was just pretty Sharon Tate, like, that'd be a really pretty costume. But if she added a bunch of blood and, like, gashes, like,
no. It's starting to get distasteful.
Yeah.
No picture.
Okay, that's all
no
right.
picture. Top comment. Not the asshole, in my opinion. This is making light of a murder victim. Very tasteless indeed. To anyone saying she's dead and this happened a long time ago, how would you feel if your family member was murdered and then someone dressed up as them and the person who murdered them? My guess is furious, livid, disgusted, etc. And I get the killer. Like, people dress up as Bonnie and Clyde all the time. Like, they went on a rampage.
They do.
Like,
I'm trying to think of
like other costumes you've seen?
No, I'm trying to think of like, because to me, obviously, dark, morbid person. I think dressing up as the victims, not cool. I'm trying to think if there's like one specifically that's standing out, but there isn't. I think that's probably Sharon Tate's pretty bad because usually everyone dresses up as the killer. So I feel like that kind of makes sense.
And even like,
I don't know what we're doing for
movie
Halloween.
killers. Like, I got a lot of trick-or-treaters this year. It was like the highlight of my year. But I saw a lot of Chuckies, a lot of, I don't remember the mask guy. Freddy? Jason? Both of them have masks, maybe?
Freddy, well, no, he has like the hands.
Okay.
Jason has a mask.
Okay, I saw a lot of him.
Michael Myers has a mask.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a lot of the Scream, like vintage Scream stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that.
But those are movies.
Exactly. I'm like, that makes sense. I'm like,
those are movies.
I don't know. When it starts to get to real people and they're not 100 years old. But I saw something recently where people were dressing up as like Titanic victims.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
that's kind of, well, okay, it's funny you say this because I was just having a conversation about the Titanic Museum and there was this one where I used to live that would have a those like blow up jumpy things?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So it would have a blow up jumpy thing, but it was shaped as the Titanic, like sinking. So you would go to the top and you slide down like you're like this.
No.
Yes, like the Titanic was sinking and you slide
need to see
down.
A picture of this.
Oh, it was 100% real. And I was like, I just don't know if that's the way.
Yeah, this one, right?
Yes. It's very fucked up. I'm like,
oh my God.
Like there's kids going down it, yelling and screaming and like, yay. And it's like, you know,
Is it too soon?
I don't think it's too soon. It's just like
Still 100 years
this
later?
historic event that happened
Yeah.
where a lot of people died. If we're recreating it or like,
That.
you know, it's that part.
Well, and it's like, okay, put it into perspective of like another huge tragedy. Like, would you see a 9/11 bounce house?
I mean, maybe in like 20 years, but for now, like if we did, it would be not well received.
No. It'd be
I
on
don't think-
site.
Yeah. So whenever I would see that Titanic thing, it was just like, ooh, mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings indeed.
Kind of want to go down it.
Try it once.
Yeah,
for
and
the
then
plot.
I'll judge.
And
Just want to see what it was like.
Oh, we had someone, it's a Reddit story from ages ago, but they had a Titanic themed wedding.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a confusing
did
theme.
everyone die at the end?
No elaboration on the theme from what I remember, but there was some issue. The fiance was like, my partner wants this theme and I'm uncomfortable. And I don't know if they went through with it. I don't know if we ever got an update, guys.
I don't know if
Sad.
that. I wouldn't label it Titanic thing. Maybe it's what was that era? Golden. It was the Gilded Age.
Yeah,
So it's like Gilded Age thing.
that would be a great theme.
right, not Titanic thing.
I know.
That's kind of weird, but live your life, I guess.
To each their own.
You know,
Okay.
I love a theme.
I love a theme. This next one, she's got a theme in her life.
Really?
I don't know if you're going to love it. So, this next one is coming from AITAH, another form of Am I the Asshole, basically. It's 2 months old, titled, Am I the Asshole for Hating My Wife's Creepy Project? Okay, this sounds insane, but I swear my wife is a totally normal person otherwise, which makes this so strange to me. For context, we're both in our late 30s and live in a pretty typical suburban neighborhood where we all know each other. My wife has always loved trashy movies and shows about infidelities, and she eats up true crime about spouses killing their cheating partners too. She just says something about it makes her morbidly fascinated, in her own words. Well, a couple of months back, we had a scandal in our neighborhood where a married couple in the neighborhood divorced because the husband cheated. No, there wasn't a murder or anything like that, but she became obsessed with learning every detail from every neighbor. No matter the occasion, be it a baby shower or cookout, she would bring it up, hoping there would be some new information. A month later is when I stumbled upon the board in her home office. I was doing some cleaning and I found a massive bulletin board facing away, leaned up against the wall. Curiosity got the better of me and I turned it around to find a literal fucking conspiracy board of all of our neighbors' pictures with lines of yarn connecting each other like the fucking Pepe Sylvia meme.
I love her.
I was totally confused and asked where this was, and she told me it was a hobby she had started recently where she would track rumors or likely candidates for the cheating board.
I love it.
The yarn represented who was possibly cheating with whom. She had clearly gotten all of the images on Facebook or some social media and printed them out and even had a few sticky notes with details. I told her this was creepy and insane, and she said maybe if I was doing it as a man, but she is just having harmless fun as a hobby, and she wouldn't be crazy and try to oust anyone based on these rumors. She just likes feeling like a detective. She told me to view it like a creative art piece. I was still super weirded out, but I let it go, or tried to. I thought about it a lot. Well, every now and then I admit to checking the board while cleaning. But just a couple of days ago, I looked to see that now I was on the board with a piece of yarn attached to a neighbor's wife that I am casual friends with. I asked her why she would add me if she thought I was cheating, and she said that was a different yarn color for potential matches for cheating. She said if it makes me feel better, she was planning on adding herself to the board soon. Well, I got pissed and kind of lost my temper about it. I told her to get rid of the board or our marriage will be in trouble. Things have been super rocky since. Sorry for the long post. I'm starting to feel bad and it hit me more than usual this morning. Should I apologize to her? And before you ask, no, I don't suspect her of cheating. Honestly, I wish she was because it would at least make more sense than this.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the asshole?
That's a hard one.
This is quite the hobby.
I don't think he's the asshole only because he's concerned and he's bringing it up to his wife.
Yeah.
As you should.
I think you're allowed to say how you're feeling.
Oh, totally. Like,
to your
hey,
wife. Like,
this is a little weird.
Yeah.
But like,
a little creeped out.
Yeah, as someone who is, I'm not nosy, but I do like to investigate.
Oh, I'm nosy.
Snoop. Yeah.
I'm so nosy.
And if she's living in the suburbs, I don't blame her. Like,
No.
there's nothing to do.
No.
So you start watching your neighbors and you get to know them. And then you start creating, I don't know, a little database.
I watch my
file.
neighbors now. Like I feel like
I don't blame her.
I'm like, what are they doing down there?
Mm-hmm.
He's got that sign in his yard.
Uh-huh.
The other neighbor across the street did a big banner for retaliation. They're at war. He put a camera on the street sign now.
Yeah.
My neighborhood is like filled to the brim with tea like this.
Yeah.
I get it completely.
Me too.
Would I make the board? I don't know.
Would you?
Would you make the board,
I would
Bailey?
make the board only because I'm psycho like that. I'm a very visual person, so I need to see everything. But I feel like, look, they should compromise. She can still have her hobby and have her little detective work going.
Okay.
But instead of a board, maybe put it into a notebook, write down everyone's name, and just keep it more private. It doesn't need to be displayed out in the house and get a little, it just like, it sounds like something that she's doing for fun. And treat it like a little personal diary.
What would happen if a neighbor came over and saw the board?
God, how embarrassing.
You'd have to move.
You'd
You would
have to
literally
move.
have to move.
Or make up some weird lie that you're now going to have to keep up forever about what you're doing. And yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I think the board's a little much. Maybe just like copy it into a notebook. But let her keep doing it.
Or
It's
Google Doc.
keeping her busy.
I know.
There's other hobbies too. She can pottery's fun. Pottery's fun.
I want to get into sewing. It's on my list.
Sewing's so fun.
It's on my list.
Yeah, she could do that.
There's a lot.
There's
she
a
could
lot.
try.
But I guess my biggest question is, what's her end goal?
That is, yeah.
Like, she's getting all the pieces and stuff. Like, what is she doing with this information?
Well, do you also kind of find it weird where I don't know how he got to this point, but he even kind of said, and before you ask, no, I don't suspect her of cheating.
Mm-hmm.
My mind didn't go there.
Mm-mm.
So I'm curious why his went there. And it's like, did he kind of ponder like maybe she's making this board to detract? Like to kind of take the heat off her? Like if there's strings and, oh, you're on the board, babe, to the neighbor that you are friends with, and I'll put myself on the board soon. It is interesting where it's like, is this a part of a whole elaborate scheme to maybe hide an affair? Because I didn't go there.
I didn't go there either.
I'm very surprised he did.
Yeah, me too. But I guess maybe he's thinking like she's setting this all up, or maybe he's thinking what other people might be thinking.
Yeah.
Is that she's setting this all up to make sure like who knows what, and is it going to get back to to her and her husband or something. But I don't think that's the case. Like if you're having an affair, you're not doing that much.
I feel like you wouldn't make it so like a billboard. Like this is a board in your home. Like, you're going to connect the dots for him?
Yeah.
To take the heat off?
Yeah. So
I'm like that.
I don't think he's having an affair.
That would be another level of gaslighting to like literally put your affair on the board with a yarn string connected. That'd be insane.
That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be insane. Top comment on this one. I really couldn't see it getting weirder until she mentioned adding herself to the board. This is a strange game your wife's playing, and it seems like an unhealthy obsession with infidelity. Right? This is her way of admitting to cheating? I'm so confused. So other people in the comments are kind of making...
That she's cheating?
I guess. And
She's
next
cheating.
comment is, I'm thinking more fantasizing about doing it. If she was actually doing it, she wouldn't need this creepy hobby to keep her occupied. Which is what you said. Like, you're
Yeah.
kind of like, if she was having an affair, like, she wouldn't be doing all of this.
You wouldn't be doing that. And you would get a diary. You wouldn't make a big, like you just said, billboard in the house of like your affair.
Yeah.
I don't think she's having an affair. I think she's bored. I really think she's bored and she found something like exciting going on.
Yeah.
Everyone's having affairs and there's probably like little lies and little stories and she's just piecing it together.
Oh my God.
If anything, she should write some kind of gossip blog.
A book.
A book.
A book.
Something.
A TV show. It's giving Desperate Housewives.
Yeah. Suburban Housewives. Like, come on. I love that shit.
It could be so good.
It could be really good. So maybe the partner should nurture it so she could write a book and do something with that information that she's collected.
Could buy you a bigger house in a nicer neighborhood.
Or maybe she's gathering blackmail to use against all of her neighbors just in case something happens.
Well,
because if you got dirt on everyone, then they're not going to rat you out to HOA.
Oh my gosh. I have
I have HOA horror stories too.
Yeah, I have horror
Trauma.
stories. But I
paid for trauma.
Oh my God, it's insane what people do with HOAs. It's nuts. Fuck HOAs. But we have an update on this one.
Oh, okay, great.
I know.
I love this.
I know. Anyways, Jesus Christ. Firstly, appreciate all of the concern and not the assholes. It gave me the courage to approach her and tell her that while I may have overreacted by threatening our marriage, I think it is a creepy thing to do. She apologized and said she would get rid of the board. I thought we were good. Literally 2 days later, shit hits the fan. Our happily married next door neighbor finds a woman's bra under the bed that does not belong to her. It doesn't take long for the whole neighborhood to find out. Well, my wife is giddy, like jumping up and down for joy. She shows me the board, which she still didn't trash like she promised. And of course, the husband was marked with yarn, meaning he was likely to cheat. She told me the board was accurate after all, and maybe she should keep her hobby around. I was definitely suspicious, so I looked at the board again later. It looked different from the last time I saw it, before the latest scandal. Instead of the yarn connecting to another neighbor, the cheating husband's yarn connected to a post-it with a question mark. Firstly, it was the only question mark there, and I swore it wasn't there the last time I saw the board. So either she changed it after the cheating to prove a point, or slightly before it happened, which made me even more suspicious either way. Now, I felt like I was the detective and I was going crazy. I went over to the cheating husbands to ask a few questions. The wife was staying at her parents', so it was just the two of us. I asked him if he actually did it, and he said no, he would never. Then I asked if my wife had been over recently. He said one day while you were at work, his wife asked her to water a plant they had while they were both away and told her where the key was. So yes, she had been over.
Is she planting all of this?
I immediately raised an eyebrow. I asked if he still had the bra, and he was getting nervous and told me not to get the wrong idea. I said, don't worry. He still had the bra, and I looked at it.
It's his wife's.
It was my wife's bra. But one I knew she almost never wore because it was from a lingerie set I bought her one Christmas, and she said it was uncomfortable. I told my neighbor I needed to talk to my wife and ran out, but I told him not to worry. I approached her with the bra and asked her what was going on. She played stupid, but I told her to cut the BS. I asked if she had either cheated on me with him or planted it there. Either way, she was in trouble. She confessed to planting the bra and said it was to make me admit that her hobby was valid or something.
Oh my God, she was dedicated.
I flipped out on her. I said this was worse than her cheating on me because instead of ruining just our marriage, she ruined our neighbors and ours. I demanded she call the wife and admit to everything, even sending pictures of the board. I even showed the Reddit post, which actually helped convince her that my wife had planted it rather than cheating with her husband. Well, they made up, But now I have no idea what to do. I'm barely speaking to my wife, and it is only a matter of time before the entire neighborhood figures this out. I seriously need advice.
Yeah, he does.
You gotta move. If he sent pictures of that board to the wife,
oh no.
that revenge, like that,
I would spread around.
I would post it on the neighbor's app.
Mhm.
I would print it and put it on flyers on every telephone pole. Like, we have a problem with this little board making, like,
Yeah.
the revenge is gonna come
What is she doing?
hot.
At first I was supportive of her. Now I'm very sad for her because I don't know what she's doing.
I don't know.
It's like, why would she plant that just to prove a point? But that's going really, really, really far. It's like, girl, is that mental illness?
I'm so.
Is mental illness in the room with us right now? Like,
I don't know.
because are you that bored? Are you that bored to ruin other people's lives?
That's where I draw the line.
Mm-hmm. I need more information. How much money do these people make each year? Do they have kids? Do they live in the suburbs? Is she just a rich, bored housewife who wants to shake things up? Or is she like literally just kind of a little psycho?
A screw is loose.
And maybe like when they show you a red flag, sometimes it's a
billboard instead.
Yeah, it's a billboard. I don't know. But do you dump your whole marriage over that? We just need more information.
I know. I feel like you'd have to go to therapy, individuals therapy for her, because I do think the board like could have been just a fun hobby, but to take it to this level is deranged.
Now it's psycho. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a Lifetime movie in the making.
Yeah. And so it's like, it could have been cool. And like, there's so many people that obviously like are very into true crime and, you know, cheating scandals and all this stuff. But like, I feel like there's a better way to pursue this hobby or get involved and volunteer your time with some organization, you know, maybe interviewing people or doing something. But to take it this far to then like frame someone.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's where it's like, it's getting really weird. Like you're kind of inching towards territory where like you want to try a crime just to see if you can get away with it.
Yeah.
And there is a true crime like that like,
there's lots of true crimes like that where they try.
Yeah, I feel like it happened recently where it was like a young college kid and he wanted to see if he could get away with murder and just like killed someone.
Really?
Maybe it's an episode coming soon for you.
Yeah, depends which one.
But like,
it might. Are you sure it's the Idaho murders?
Not the Brian guy.
Yeah, because he was
studying to be a forensic.
Yeah, criminology. And like, here's how I would do it.
Did that case end?
No, it's happening right now. Yeah, so we'll see. He's creepy looking. If you do a side-by-side of him and Bundy.
Identical.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like Googling now.
Psychotic how much they look alike. Same eyes, same nose, same mouth. It's bizarre. Then I went down this rabbit hole about like certain face shapes and features and how they correlate to like. Oh my God,
they look so alike. The eyes and the hollowed, like hollowed deep socket eyes.
Yeah. I was reading about how certain features are shown in serial killers.
Yeah.
I'm not like, it's just a study that's being done, you know? But I found that really interesting because you can see it in that picture where it's like, oh, okay. Now show me another killer with those same eyes.
Yeah.
Because they always have the same like sunken, crazy eye.
It's so interesting. I just fell down the rabbit hole of that one artist. He's the artist behind like ballerinas being Jack the Ripper.
What?
Oh, you are going to eat this up.
Okay.
I think it's Degas.
Degas?
Yeah. So Edgar Degas.
Uh-huh.
So he had this disease actually. And there's a whole, I'll send you a TikTok and you're just literally going to go down the rabbit hole. But it starts out as like this woman saying, I think Degas is actually Jack the Ripper. Here's why. He would, one, be obsessed with ballerinas who oftentimes were prostitutes and other like jobs that were prostitutes, like wash maidens and stuff like that. And all of Jack the Ripper's victims were women like of the night, or I'm
Sex
butchering
workers.
this. Yes. And so she was like, he never wrote letters, but during the time of these killings, he randomly wrote a letter to someone about a dinner he had. He was antisocial. He didn't write letters. He happened to like take random day trips to London to visit a friend and then would disappear. Like all of these correlations. And then he had this disease where he lost his vision. But another correlation with this disease is the like gray matter behind your eyes like really decreases. And if you do brain scans of a lot of serial killers, the gray matter behind their eyes like doesn't have a lot of activity. And there's so many different correlations, and it's just really, really crazy.
I love that.
You're going to, I 100% think it was him.
Really?
Yeah. 100%.
I wish we could know for sure.
I know.
It's one of those things I don't think we'll ever know for sure.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, there's no DNA at this point.
No, like when the women got murdered, they were like hosing down the sidewalks.
It's
Which
just,
is so wild to think of
like
now.
the times.
Yeah.
Like,
And they were just like, they had nothing to go on. No DNA, fingerprints.
No.
Like, how did you solve mysteries back then? Is what I'm impressed with.
some Sherlock Holmes shit.
They had to Scooby-Doo it.
I would not, I think, oh God, it's just crazy. And then just the way you got like taken out if you were guilty, like firing squad, hanging. Crazy. This got real dark.
Yeah, I got story of my life. Anyways, that wife.
Anyway.
Hopefully she's not like that. But,
yeah. Divorce worthy? Like where would you go from there?
I don't know. Because at the end of the day, relationships aren't so black and white. Like, has it been a happy, wonderful marriage all the way up until this one point?
If that's the case.
Right. Has there been weird little things she's gotten into all
Yeah.
throughout the marriage? And it's just like, okay, this is another weird little thing she's fucking doing. Then maybe,
Yeah.
okay, like.
Just another ADHD hobby.
Yeah, like, or if like she's just a weird person and this is just another weird thing and you can't take it anymore, then maybe it's time for you to leave. I don't know. I don't like to tell people what to do, but I think they should listen to their gut, their intuition. It's always correct. I don't know if men have an intuition though.
I always wonder that because I feel like we as women are trained to listen to our gut way more. I feel like our safety is like, you have an experience every day where, at least I do, or I'm also paranoid, but like you kind of look over your shoulder a little bit and like you have to be more on edge. Walking at night is a little scary. I don't think a lot of guys have that same gut instinct or like fear. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm curious. We should put a poll.
Yeah. Do you have intuition? Let us know. I'm sure they do in different ways.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, he had a hunch about this. He got paranoid. He's like, he heard this cheating scandal pop up and he knew. He goes, something's fishy here. So
something is fishy now that she planted that.
Maybe.
So
what if she didn't actually plant it?
But didn't she say she did?
What if she's lying?
Why would she lie? She's having an affair?
What if she's lying? I don't know. I'm like, this lady she's a little unhinged.
Look.
What if they were actually sleeping together? And now he just got the wife to take him back? Oh, I lied? The whole board was a scheme?
I feel like she would have said something. Someone would have cracked. Right?
I personally would have cracked. I don't have a poker face.
Me neither.
I would have cracked.
Me too. I think she had something against that neighbor. Maybe she wanted
Ooh.
the husband. So she broke him up.
She's playing the long game. She's playing the long game.
She could be there for him when he's sad.
Shoulder
his
to
wife.
cry on. Don't worry, I'll
so
keep watering your
maybe
plants.
she was doing that. But it doesn't make sense with the whole board of it all.
No. It's too obvious then.
So
I don't know.
Get her on the line. Let's ask her what she's doing.
Pull it up. Top comment on this one. I honestly refuse to believe this is real. Your wife is actually nuts. This is insane behavior to have. Next comment. I was thinking just the opposite. This one is so original, it's got to be real. No AI is going to come up with this insanity. That's left to humans.
Yeah, it's true.
Have you had any like true crime things come up on your channel where you've had elaborate cover-ups like this?
Like
this
hiding a bra?
Hiding a bra, or just like the weird map, or what's the craziest thing you've seen someone do to erase their tracks?
I feel like women are usually the ones who do crazy stuff, right? So there was this one story I did about this lady. She was like considered the original catfish. This is when AOL first came out. And she was going into those chat rooms and like catfishing people, telling them she had lots of money. She was going to take care of them. She was still married, but she had like 3 different boyfriends. One was in Reno, one was in some other state, whatever. And she had like a list or a chart and like who she was in that relationship type of thing, like a whole dictionary of like, this is what I told him. And then she would reference it.
My God.
And then eventually one of the boyfriends, she had told him that she was in an abusive marriage and she couldn't be with him because her husband was going to kill her or whatever.
Yeah.
So then the side boyfriend decided, well, I'm going to kill him. So he like drove hundreds of miles, killed the husband because he thought she was in an abusive marriage, and everything just came falling apart. She wasn't in an abusive marriage. This guy was just like, he had no idea his wife had all these girlfriends. He just thought she was on AOL trying to like look up antique doll stuff because it was new, the internet, you know? So he was just like, oh, I thought she was just doing like antique doll stuff.
Oh,
like, this poor man. And then
he actually got killed?
He got killed.
Oh.
Yeah, he got killed because this lady just wanted attention.
Poor thing.
Creating all these stories. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic. She was creating all these stories and then it blew up in her face. So, you know, maybe going back to that previous story, it's like, why would she create this chart and all that? I guess this is kind of a perfect example of maybe she was doing that, creating a chart that she could follow and like, I don't know. Women, lady killers, or we're a little crazy.
I'm sitting here. I need a minute.
We're a little crazy. We like to take notes. We're visual people.
Yeah.
Guy killers just kill.
That's so crazy.
We make charts.
Pie chart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. One thing I haven't done is look and see if there's any comments from OP. We have an update. A final update.
We have a final update on this guy.
It was posted 4 hours ago.
Oh, shit.
4 hours ago now. Oh, God.
When was it originally posted?
Originally posted 2 months ago.
Oh, wow. So things really played out quickly.
I'm scared. Final update. I hope. It's been months since the last update. Sorry, I've been busy. Long story short, my wife is in a mental health facility.
Mental illness is in the room.
You called it.
I know.
You called it. I'm so scared.
Good for her. Let her make those charts in her facility.
I think we're good here, folks. Bye. After what happened previously, I did not speak to my wife for a while. I tried to stay working or out of the house as often as I could. Well, a few weeks passed and time made it seem like less and less of a big deal. Finally, my wife offered to take me out to a very nice restaurant and make things up to me. She told me everything was behind her, and while I was avoiding her, she had actually started online therapy to get help and realized now that what she did was wrong. I really believed her, and we had a great night. One thing led to another, and yeah, LOL. It took about 2 days after that for her to get a pregnancy test, and she texted me the positive result. Yeah, I know some of you already think I'm a fucking moron, but it had been a rough year, and this made me really happy. I started getting very excited. We started talking about turning my home office to a baby room, looking up ways to prepare, book appointments, planning a shower, etc. A really fun but whirlwind week. Unfortunately, she told me the first ultrasound was at a time I had to be at work, and she would have to go alone. Really bummed me out, and I asked her to reschedule, but she said it was the only availability. Well, that next week she went, and I was waiting for an update, a picture, anything. Nothing. She came home and was super quiet, and I flipped out and got super worried that the worst has happened. I told her I understood she was probably in a lot of pain and something, but she told me she had to tell me something. She finally admitted, no, she wasn't dealing with losing the baby, but she was actually pregnant for longer than she thought, longer than the last time we did it.
Uh-oh.
She actually got pregnant during the time I was avoiding her. What?
Do we think the neighbor?
Ugh.
How are we going back to the neighbor?
Ma'am! Obviously, I was so mad and upset. I couldn't understand why she would do this to me. But then I realized all the signs were there for so long, and all the comments telling me she was probably cheating were right. But I tried to keep a clear head for at least a second because I really love my wife and I couldn't believe it. I asked her who it could have been, and she actually said she didn't know. She said she hadn't done it with anyone during the time I was avoiding her.
Mm-hmm. Math. The math ain't mathin'.
She swore it and also didn't know what this meant. I thought about it and realized if she was really pregnant for that long, her tummy should be showing, and it wasn't. I decided to call the place and ask them to confirm what they said. My wife told me it would be a waste of time, and she promised she heard them clearly, so I didn't do it that night. But I couldn't sleep without hearing it from the doctors for myself. I called the clinic she told me she went to the next day in the morning and asked them to confirm the results. They told me something worse than I expected. She had no visit. She was never there. I didn't understand that at all. Before I talked to my wife again, I did what I should have done in the first place and reverse image searched the pregnancy test image. Yeah, it was on Google from a random years-old Facebook post. I was again really mad at my wife and couldn't believe that she had put me through all of this.
Damn. What is she doing?
I am just, wow. I confronted her about the picture and that I called the place and there was no appointment. I told her she had a pattern of lying and this was probably the end of our relationship. But she responded in a way I didn't expect. She burst into tears and had a manic episode. But then said that she really had cheated on me and really was pregnant and that I had made this up in my head because I couldn't face what she did to me. She said she felt like the devil and started sobbing and literally screaming at the top of her lungs. She locked herself in the bathroom and told me she was going to hurt herself over what she did to me. I couldn't get the door open and freaked out. I called the cops and they broke down the door. She wasn't hurt, but she was really out of it. They took her to get mental health help and she told them everything there. She even started mixing in stuff about the board and how she knew everyone around her was a cheater, so she had done the same because she was in an evil place. She promised them she was pregnant, but she didn't know who the father was. They tested her while she was in custody. No pregnancy at all. They told me she was likely suffering from a form of schizophrenia and acted genuinely believing that what she was saying was true and likely always had to some level, but it seemed to be getting worse. They said she had a symptom called self-accusation and needed help. I got her in a facility last week. She is safe. They're making a little progress. I do not think that she thinks she is pregnant anymore. I have visited a few times, but she is very withdrawn with me and says she feels too guilty to look me in the eye. I think there was definitely meddling at certain parts, like planting evidence, but now I just feel terrible that I did not get her the help she needed when all the real signs were there. I hope her medication starts to help and she can be normal again. And yeah, the neighborhood gossip is having a field day with all of this.
I bet.
Anyways, thanks for listening. I hope this is my last update. Thank you all for the help.
That's sad. That's sad because at first, the surface story, you're like, she's just being weird. Well, I'm thinking she's just being weird, whatever. But then now that she's been, she's in the mental institution, mental hospital for schizophrenia. That makes sense. The chart makes sense. The planting of the bra, the pregnant, like it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad for him. That sucks. It's got to be so hard.
They're both absolutely going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I didn't jump to cheating from the jump. Like that first post, I didn't jump to cheating.
Mm-mm.
And even the second, we were kind of like, well, what is this all for still? And it does make sense, like severe mental illness, but like him being like, I feel bad. I didn't get her the help she needed. I don't know if I would have recognized these as warning signs, like
No.
the chart.
Yeah, he shouldn't feel guilty at all. Poor
No.
guy. He was concerned. He was concerned enough to bring it up to her,
Yeah.
to post it on Reddit.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like he should be guilty. It was just, he wasn't sure where to go with it,
No.
you know?
And like now having this whole resolution, which, wow, I do think there could be a makeup here. They could mend this after a lot of therapy, medication management. But like, I have more hope now that like she's got a diagnosis and is getting help versus where we left off on update 2 of like her just planting this just to be evil or create chaos.
Totally. I don't know.
You don't know if there's
mean,
there's no hope, Bailey. Bailey, there's no hope.
I don't believe in hope. No, I just, it's hard because look, when you get into a relationship with someone, you know, through sickness and in health.
Yeah.
And a lot of people mean that, and then a lot of people don't. So I don't know, like schizophrenia, like if you didn't know that was coming and you don't know how to deal with it, like and support your partner and be there for them, I'm sure it could be a lot for someone, and they might not want, he might want out. I don't know. I don't know.
It's definitely tricky.
It's tricky. And yeah, I don't know.
I'm wondering. He seems so hopeful that like I could see him giving it a shot. Like poor guy didn't really know how ovulation and pregnancy works by the sound of it to like get a test a couple days later. Like it sounds like she kind of used his ignorance against him in that regard.
Or she was just trying to get him to like move on, move past it.
Take me back.
Yeah, like, see, I'm pregnant now. Like, let's move on. It felt like one of those moves.
Yeah. And people do that.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. People fake pregnancies all the time to get closer to their partner or forgive me or whatever. Like, that's not far-fetched.
Yeah, not at all. It's sick. It's gross. I'm like, God, what are you doing?
There's other ways. There's other people
There's
even.
other people.
There's other ways to manipulate someone. No, there's other people.
There's other ways to manipulate.
Like, don't fake a pregnancy test.
No, because then you got to do the whole like, I lost the baby and all that drama.
Oh my God. I feel like she would have been one to like order the pregnancy pillow too and like fake it.
You think?
And fake it. Yeah. There was that one true crime story about the woman who literally wore a bump, faked it alongside her pregnant best friend, murdered the friend.
Tried to get the baby.
And took the baby.
Yep. Sick.
Like you just
Psycho.
don't know where people can go.
I know.
And where they'll take things.
I know, right? Because first it's a simple chart and now
you just don't know.
you just don't know. People surprise me every day.
Well, I'll be sure to post the link on this one. No comments from OP on any of these posts. I don't know.
How old was he?
So that's what I went to go look back at. No mention of ages.
Oh, interesting.
So they could be young. They could be 23. I mean, married, but no mention of kids or anything yet. So,
right.
I mean, they could be young. She could be, 23, 24 and having her first, mental break.
Poor thing. That's so scary.
I can't even imagine.
I know.
I can't imagine.
I hope she gets the help she needs, and I hope he moves on or moves forward with her.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. But I'm glad she's getting help.
I am too. The top comment does say the same thing. She was probably suffering from mental illness for a while. The recovery will be a long process. I've been through something similar as this and finally divorced years after. I wish you luck and advise you to get some counseling yourself to learn how to deal with this.
Aww.
Good luck.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot for both of them. And like, I feel so bad for her too, to like be in this facility and she's like, I can't even look you in the eyes. I feel too guilty.
Right. The shame. I mean, I don't know. Cause like don't know anyone with schizophrenia, just what I've read, but Like, does she know what she did?
I feel like based on the comment that she's not, like, she doesn't think she's pregnant anymore. It maybe feels like she's starting to like come back down to reality and kind of out of that manic episode.
God, that's scary. It's just scary. One day you could wake up and then like your brain is just off.
Dude, I recognize I'm a little paranoid, but like if I have a gummy some nights and I start seeing stuff, I'm like, this was a bad idea. Like this is going to cause me to have like,
this is it.
My break. Or like even if I don't have a gummy and I'm like walking around outside and I see something out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, am I okay? Like I don't know. Like it would be so scary because I feel like if you were going down that mental health, like down that spiral, it's a slow burn maybe initially.
It seems that way based off of what I've read.
Yeah. I know we have a lot of listeners that have things like bipolar, and I know we have some listeners with schizophrenia. If you could comment and like provide some insight about, you know, what that looked like for you, if you're comfortable, of course, or, you know, what you see happening for this relationship and if there's a chance of making amends, I'd love to have your takes in the comments. It'd be really appreciated.
Definitely. And to know how to better be supported.
Yeah.
Like if your partner has schizophrenia, well, if you have schizophrenia, like how would you want your partner to support you?
I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd love that. And like, how do you wish you would have been supported during your initial, you know, psychosis?
Right.
Like that would be really helpful for a lot of people too, because, you know, we do have a lot of people that are young and dating. Who knows if your partner will be affected by something like this? So
I know. It's so scary.
It's a lot, but comment your thoughts. Otherwise, we're moving along. Okay. Do we want to lighten the mood a little bit?
I don't know.
You like this?
Like
this? Okay. Well, I'm going to at least give us something a little satisfying. I just found this subreddit. It's the first time I think we're dabbling with this. It's called r/traumatize them back. So I've got a quick one from this. Supermarket aisle earlier this evening. I just witnessed a massacre. A 20-something man carrying a baby in a sling is trying to shop in peace, only to be accosted by an older woman. Making eye contact with him and then me, she loudly proclaims, quote, "I love to see a man doing the babysitting. Are you giving his mum a break?" To which he replies, quote, "I am her mum. I just haven't had a chance to look at myself much after having a newborn." Clearly dying inside, the woman sputters, bows backwards, apologizing, and disappears around the corner. He then casually says to me, quote, "I'm her dad, really. I just don't like it when they call it babysitting." It was legendary. Perhaps the greatest thing I've ever seen in real life. I laughed so hard, especially when I rounded the corner and realized she had heard him, dumped her trolley, and ran out of the shop.
Oh.
Dads of Reddit, next time someone calls taking care of your child babysitting, follow his example. They'll never do it again.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, so satisfying. I love this subreddit. It's like petty revenge, but like on steroids.
Yeah, like just little things, little jabs.
Just
Nothing
little.
major, just something small.
Little.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, satisfying little one. But moving along. You've never heard of cuckooed, right?
No.
Okay. This is new for me.
Cuckooed.
Cuckooed.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's a term from the UK, but you'll see. So this post is coming from r/legal advice UK. So I would think UK term. It's titled, "I think my neighbor has been cuckooed." Hi, I'll try to keep this short. This is in England, by the way. I live in a semi-detached house that's been split into 2 flats. I live in the upstairs one, my neighbor, an elderly woman in her mid-80s, in the downstairs one. We're sort of loose friends/acquaintances. I take her to bridge nights every so often, do her shopping, and she lets me use her garden when the weather's nicer, or lets me get some food shopping on her card, that kind of stuff. Every so often, I do a bit of baking, and I like to take her a bit. A slice of cake, for example. And at the end of September, when I went downstairs, an older man came to the door. never seen this bloke before. And he was probably 60s, not middle-aged, but not her age, if you get what I mean, and dressed a bit weird in a blazer and tie. Was very aggressive and asked what I wanted. I said I was here to see my neighbor, and he said in this weird faux posh accent, quote, Mrs. X is not taking visitors right now, but took the cake and slammed the door in my face. Really weird, but assumed it was her son or something. I know she has kids, but they're not in the picture. Ever since then, things have gotten weirder. I've only seen my neighbor twice. Once when she was in the garden with him, and once being bundled off into a car very late at night before coming back in the early hours of the morning. Both times, she looked very uncomfortable. Over the last few weeks, I've noticed the curtains are always shut and her garden is getting overgrown and untidy. Some nights there's shouting. I can hear a male and female voice, but it's not hers. And a few times I've seen a Filipino woman coming to and from the property. Whenever I've encountered the man, when leaving the house more or less, or seen him leaving the property, he's either blanked me or gotten very aggressive when I try to speak to him. I once asked if my neighbor was okay, and he threatened to contact the neighborhood watch. I did contact the police on 101, and they were trying to fob me off and sort of implying because it's an older bloke and not obviously related to county lines, which I don't think it is, they're not really interested. More or less, got told it's probably just her boyfriend and I should stop being nosy. I'm really concerned for my neighbor. So is there any way I can get the police interested or maybe contact someone at the council? Thank you for any advice.
Damn. Cuckooed.
Cuckooed. What is cuckooed?
I don't know. It sounds like conservatorship. How old is she?
No mention
Damn it.
of
I need age ranges.
our writer's age, but woman is elderly woman in her mid-80s. The guy cuckooing is 60s. So kind of a big age gap to like be dating.
Right. Family, older brother, older mean brother who's coming in and trying to...
I don't know.
I don't know either.
A lot of people were confused about the cuckooing.
Yeah.
So asking like, what is cuckooing? And OP responds, it's based off the bird from what I know. I learned about it because my sister's father-in-law is in the drugs squad and deals with it. Basically, I'm concerned this bloke has moved in to her flat and is using it for whatever shit he's pulling. Though, funnily enough, I've never actually seen him do anything out of the ordinary beyond being a bell end and having this Filipino woman around every so often. I'm going to Google cuckooing too one more time. I'm like...
Yeah, because I feel like when I've heard of reference to the cuckoo bird, I know that's where cuckold comes from the cuckoo bird.
Oh.
Because they...
In their mating dance, they cuckold one another?
Well, I think, isn't a cuckold when like you watch someone else bang your...
Yeah.
And I think it comes from the cuckoo bird.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
2 a.m. deep dives.
Wow.
I don't remember specifically why. I want to say because they swap partners, but I could be making all this up.
I could see that.
Which
They're
makes
not
sense.
a monogamous bird.
Yeah. Fact check me though. I could be wrong, but I believe it comes from the cuckoo bird.
I love finding out like little tidbits about weird stuff like that.
Me too. Because then you're like, oh. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
I can see that. Yeah.
So the definition of cuckooing, it's a form of action termed by the police in which the home of a vulnerable person is taken over by a criminal in order to use it to deal, store, or take drugs, facilitate sex work as a place for them to live, or to financially abuse the tenant.
What? Wait, what? So is this like a squatter who just moves in?
It's giving like an intense squatter.
Like, I know this woman, but I'm just going to come and like move in, essentially.
Yeah. Oh, poor thing.
That sucks.
In her 80s?
Yeah.
How did it? Oh.
Can they do like a, I don't know what the laws are out there, but like a wellness check?
That's what I would assume.
Can't they do like an anonymous tip? Like, hey, I think drugs are next door.
Yeah.
Or something.
I'd lie. I'd start being like, I saw I saw him cooking in there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something happening.
Right?
We need investigation.
And then if nothing truly came of it, then maybe just start looking in the windows.
I'd become a peeper to make sure my neighbor's okay.
For sure.
I mean, her garden's overrun. The warning signs are there.
Maybe they can go next door and be like, hey, I just noticed that your garden's a little like run down. Maybe I can help you and like work on it. And that's how you get inside. I doubt that.
You got to do something. You got to get in. You got to get in there.
Yeah, there's something going on.
Someone does recommend like trying the adult social services at your local council, even if there isn't enough evidence of a crime for the police to investigate at this stage. The way she's being isolated from you is a warning sign for elder abuse. And it definitely is.
Yeah, that's sad.
There's like
being
a lot.
Locked away.
Yeah. There's a lot of like warning signs for elder abuse. And I used to really have them locked down, but like there's so many, careers that are mandated reporters. So I just start calling a hotline.
Something.
Get someone in there.
Yeah.
Get someone in there.
Just lie and be anonymous.
Lie. I would make up anything. I who cares? Like if you get a ticket for a false report, like he's being weird. He's being rude. Something's not right. You haven't seen her. You've seen her twice. Twice? That's crazy. Because this was originally posted October 29th. So to see her only a couple times since September?
Maybe she's sick. Maybe this guy is just taking care of her. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the best here.
For someone that doesn't believe in hope, you're being very hopeful over there.
I know. Because I don't want to think of a poor old woman getting taken advantage of. It's so sad.
We have an update.
Oh, there's an update?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
We got an update.
Okay.
Update. Hi there. You might remember this post I made the other week about my neighbor being cuckooed. The short answer is she was, though probably not for the reasons any of us expected. Okay, so what happened after the post? The next day, I contacted the council's MASH team, as advised, and they were extremely helpful. They were immediately concerned and said that they would be sending someone to check on her. They also asked if I could keep a diary of any events as they would like to speak to me when they do arrive. And I said I'll make a log of whatever happens. So the week goes by and more weird stuff happens. It was all quiet, and then on Halloween, a group of older gentlemen come to the property and then some women, who I assumed were strippers. They show up before leaving a few minutes later, screaming at the man who's in the flat. And he kept threatening to report them and was waving around this insect spray. Anytime any trick-or-treaters came by, they'd get the same response. It was really fucking weird. On Friday night, I see my neighbor getting bundled into a mini cab and then returned early hours of Sunday in a different mini cab with the old bloke screaming at the driver before he rushes her inside. Again, all very weird. Anyways, yesterday, 2 social workers arrive and talk to me. I show them everything I've written, and they agree this looks very much like cuckooing. But they aren't sure why this old bloke is doing it or what he's doing with the property. Now, I wasn't there for the initial confrontation, but I know they went down to speak to him, and he immediately went on the usual spiel. I'm going to report you to the neighbor's watch, get off my property, etc. When they weren't going, he sprayed them in the eyes with something and slammed the door shut.
What? What is going on?
Police and ambulance were rang, and I helped them wash their eyes out. From what I could hear when the police arrived, he tried the same bullshit with them. The spraying, not the neighborhood watch. But sounded like they tackled him, and he got hauled away in cuffs. Police found my neighbor in the property, padlocked in the box room before she was taken to the hospital.
Jesus.
We did get into the property later, and for the most part, it was how it had been left, but every door, I mean, every door had a padlock on it. I did speak to my neighbor in the hospital. Her kids are coming down, and she explained to me that she met this man at her bridge club, where he claimed he was in the parachute regiment, but was now down on his luck, and asked if he could stay with her for a night or two. Unfortunately, she had agreed. Apparently, the first evening was fine, but the next day, the moment she goes into the toilet, He attaches a padlock to it and locks her in.
Oh my God. What a psycho.
That's when the abuse started. During the time he was living there, he apparently tried to take control of the flat and her bank accounts with the goal of chucking her out. And he would get angry and scream at her when she didn't give in to him, but she refused to respond to him. She didn't really want to say much, but said he told people she was his cleaner, and the cars in the middle of the night were taxis taking her to hotels all across the region to try and get rid of her.
What?
I am not okay. I had to leave after that, but she said one day he had one of his little parties and the flat was fine from the fact someone had smeared shit on their wall.
Jesus Christ. Jesus.
As for the bloke, no idea what happened, and we've had all the locks changed, though we have suspicions he'll attempt to return one night. I did hear someone try to handle to the front door. I assume they mean a crowbar.
Mm-hmm.
My neighbor's going to go stay with my sister when she's discharged, and some of my bigger mates from Warhammer have offered to stay downstairs just in case, but we'll see. Thank you all for the assistance. You all were amazing. I showed her all the comments, and she was blown away by the support. So a huge thank you from both of us.
Aw. At least that was a happy ending, and because, look, real talk, I'm surprised he didn't murder her. Like, the fact that he kept her around for so long.
I think he would have if she would have given him banking info and all of that stuff.
Totally.
I 100% think this would have turned into true crime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, for sure.
This is coming from Legal Advice Reddit.
Right?
This is not one of our like no sleep, like crazy fiction stories. This is coming from legal advice.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if this person wouldn't have had like that gut instinct that something was wrong, or like this could have gone so wrong. Thank God this little subreddit was here and they actually got like good legal advice. And thank God the social workers showed up.
I want to know, is cuckooing a big problem
In the UK?
Because that's wild that someone can essentially just do that. But I guess, couldn't you do that here too?
I think it does happen here.
Right? Because all it takes is the kindness of someone just like, hey, come stay with me for the night or whatever. Like, not a big deal. And then they just lock you in your room.
Dude, I would.
That's so
She was
sad.
locked in there for at least a month.
How come her kids didn't come check on her?
That's what makes me so sad.
Mm-hmm. Or how come the neighbors didn't have family references?
I don't know. It seems like this neighbor writing in really is support.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for this woman to get out of the hospital and then go live with our writer's sister,
Mm-hmm.
they sound like really
Close.
like almost like family.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't know. Maybe the kids live far. Maybe the kids live in the States. Time
Mhm.
different. Who knows? But it is odd to not have talked to your mom for a month.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And maybe she was allowed.
depends. But
maybe,
yeah.
Maybe she was allowed a phone call, but he sat there over her with like a weapon or a knife or who knows. Like,
Who knows?
you better not say anything.
Yeah, that's so scary. I hope he got locked up.
I hope so, which I do have hope that he did get locked up because I Googled, is cuckooing a big problem in the UK?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Poor Google terms probably. But as of May 15th, 2024, the government has finally accepted the evil practice of cuckooing, and police now have the powers to take down cuckooers.
Nice.
So laws have been changed.
That's
like
great.
Maybe it's more enforceable because otherwise, like that would have been kind of a interesting thing to prosecute because it's like, well, she let me in with permission.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know here it's like squatters' rights,
I know.
which is wild that you can just move in and now you live there.
Yeah.
And like there's nothing really anybody can do.
No.
So it's nice that they at least have these laws in place that will help like remove these
I know.
shitty people.
I know. I really appreciate that. The squatter stuff in California especially is really,
Bizarre.
really crazy.
Bizarre.
Really crazy.
The fact you can move in, you could just literally walk into someone's house, be like, I'm living here now.
Yeah.
And just get mail sent to the house. That's all you need. And it's your, like, you just live there.
I saw this video of a guy on TikTok who his sister had an Airbnb and the lady stayed and like is a squatter now. And so he moved in and is just like terrorizing this person. I love it.
I love that for other people. If it were me, I would go absolutely psychotic.
No, I remember my realtor kind of like just, I don't know why she told me this. Like, I don't think it was a big concern. But when we got our first home, she was like, you know, I don't think this will ever be an issue, but just so you know, technically you can close. The escrow, confusing, will fund and close the sale, but there's nothing necessarily to force them to leave. It's your house. If they choose to stay, they could, and you would have to get the sheriff involved to then evict them.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, what? How do they even have rights to do that? And if they're not leaving, why would the escrow pay? That seems
right.
like so
It's
wonky.
It's a little backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But it happens.
It happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't get it.
I
don't get it.
I'm so glad this little lady's okay.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Insane.
What were they doing? Did they say? Drugs? Sex?
I think he just wanted a place to live, trying to get her money.
Jesus.
Just needed a roof over his head.
Yeah.
And to like play the military card, like you knew you were garnering sympathy. Like maybe he was in the military. Maybe that wasn't a lie, but I don't believe him. Not for a second.
No, I mean, maybe he was, but like, yeah, I'm same with you.
I'm pessimistic. No.
But he knew he went after her for a reason. He can tell that she was
vulnerable. Bridge club.
Yeah,
he went to bridge club, finding it, scoping out his victim.
Yeah, so he's just gonna do it again.
I know.
Yeah,
if he gets out.
Yeah,
I wonder how long they stay for.
I have no idea how the UK works.
Insane,
right?
Okay, God. Okay, one last one for us. This is coming from Am I the Asshole? 3 days old, titled, Am I the asshole for picking off the nuts on an ice cream cone?
I'm going to say no right off the bat.
Yesterday, my 20 female boyfriend, 19 male, bought us both ice cream. When we got it, the server asked if I wanted a special type of cone. I said yes, picking out what looked to me to be bits of cookie stuck to chocolate on the cone. My boyfriend got this as well, and it cost an extra $6 on top of the $18 already for the ice cream. He paid for it as his treat, even though I think he didn't expect it to be so expensive. When I started to eat, I realized it was actually bits of peanut. I'm not allergic, but I don't really like nuts that much, especially on sweet ice cream when the flavors don't really match up. I started to pick off the nuts. Most of them were stuck on pretty hard. I eventually just ripped off the entire chocolate part of the cone and threw it into the bin. I didn't notice my boyfriend at first, but about 30 seconds later, he stormed off and I could see he was crying. Something I haven't ever seen him do before. I chased after him and asked him what was wrong, and he yelled at me for being ungrateful and for making him literally throw away his money for no reason. This made me very upset as well, and I started crying too. He calmed down and comforted me after this, but never properly apologized. For additional context, earlier that day we went out to my favorite fast food place, and I picked out something that I hadn't tried before, rather than my regular. He paid for it, but I didn't end up eating it because I didn't really like it, so I let him have it. I felt hungry after that, and after I told him, he then took me to get the ice cream. Since I got home that day, he hasn't messaged me back at all, and I'm starting to get worried. Am I the asshole?
No, she's not the asshole, but I think they should. This is too emotional over an ice cream cone.
I was like, am I missing something?
Yeah, we are missing something. To be young and 18
yep, 2019.
Again, 19, yeah. No, she's not the asshole. If you don't want like peanuts on your thing, you take them off.
Yeah.
It's not like she was through a hissy fit like a 3-year-old and was like, oh my God, peanuts, fuck this. And like made it all dramatic.
Yeah.
She just quietly picked them off, threw away the part she didn't want. She didn't know.
I know.
Like, for him to get up and cry over that, I personally would be like, all right, well, this has been fun. I think, good luck to you.
Bye.
Yeah, like, it's not that big of a deal. But to be fair, that ice cream was very expensive. So
I'm like, where did they go?
Cold Stone, probably. They're so expensive.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever had Gingers here in LA?
No.
So good.
Really?
So good. They have a lot of vegan options, so that's why we go there a lot. And to get like a tiny little one, I think it's like 18. It's just like
it's ridiculous.
It's
I'm a
insane.
good old fashioned Ben and Jerry kind of girl.
So my favorite ice cream? IKEA.
Really?
Yep, it's like $1 for a cone, $1.99, something like that.
Damn.
Members get a discount. And it is the best custardy cone. Oh, it's so good. And that it's like that sugar cone too, that like the ice cream soaks in and then it gets like a little soggy, but it's so good. Best cone ever.
Cream.
I go to IKEA for lunch a lot too. I get the meatballs, plant balls.
Yeah.
Best lunch you'll ever have. It's so good.
I avoid IKEA at all costs. There's no windows. You go inside, there's no windows.
In the cafe, there is actually a beautiful view of the mountains.
You got to get there somehow. I feel like a hamster in one of those mazes.
Anytime you want to go to IKEA, a little lunch.
IKEA date?
I'm ready. It is, seriously, it's such good food, you guys. It's so slept on for a date.
It's so funny.
It's so slept on.
It's okay.
I'm passionate about IKEA.
Sponsorship?
Not yet.
With
I'm
the
here,
meatballs?
IKEA.
Yeah.
I'm here.
That's so funny.
Oh, my God.
I would never think they have I've heard their meatballs are really good.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
Yeah. And they have so many kinds.
Yeah, but when I believe you. Just getting there for me.
You'll take my word for it.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's not my favorite.
But this one, do you think they can make up, or do you think this is kind of is the ice cream the straw that broke the camel's back?
Well, when you're young, you start to learn what's important to you and what's not important to you in relationships. And that's what's nice, is that when you're dating, you get to find out things that you like and you don't like. So for this, she and he can determine, is this something I want to put up with?
Yeah.
Do I want to date someone who's going to, I don't know, every little penny he spends, I'm going to feel some kind of guilt if I don't eat it all.
That is a very good point.
Yeah. Because I've dated someone like that who just watched every penny. And I love that. Great.
Yeah.
Money
be frugal.
Yeah. Money management. Great. Smart.
Yeah.
But it's when they start making you feel guilty for every little, hey, do you know how much that costs? You just threw it away. And it's some people it doesn't bother, but it's you have to figure it out. If that's something he's going to be doing, is that something you want to put up with?
I did not even consider that. And it's such a valuable point, because that gets to be so unhealthy. And then especially if it's around food, you don't want to instill unhealthy eating habits or, cause that to domino into something else. Ooh, mic drop, Bailey. Okay. Let's go.
No, but it's that pressure of I have to eat my whole plate because if not, he's going to be upset with me, or I don't want to start a fight.
Yeah.
Or I should just eat this and shut up. It just can turn into something bigger.
Well, and you shouldn't be forced to eat stuff you don't like. It's okay to get something and then realize you don't like it.
Right.
Especially it's fast food and ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
I get going to a Michelin star and ordering $100 steak and then all of a sudden being like, I don't like it. I'm not eating it. That's kind of shitty.
You better fucking eat that $100 steak. I don't give a shit.
Eat it. But yeah. I'm like, this doesn't need to be so heavy, so serious.
No. But they're also really young and they could be making do you remember your first paycheck?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I worked at Perkins as a hostess.
Yeah, and it's just you know how you thought you were going to get a lot, and then when you first get that paycheck and you're like, wow, this is nothing. And then having to date, take people out, and then imagine if they're like, I don't like this. And you're like,
such a slap in the face.
It is.
Yeah, or just hurtful.
I could see where he's coming from too. But crying, talk it out. Learn how to communicate from a young age, please, people.
I know. That's one thing. I'm like, we should start having people take communication classes in high school. Literally, let's all learn how to talk to people again.
Definitely.
Because I feel like a lot of that is really missing these days.
Definitely.
Really missing.
And sometimes when you do try to communicate with someone, if you word it wrong, then it comes off the wrong way and then it backfires. And it's just like, so communication classes would be really smart.
I think so. Which we do have some comments from OP. He yelled at me over the ice cream, which yelling about this, like, here we go. All the more reason for communication classes. Generally, I'm not very fussy because I just normally order the same kinds of things. Today, I just wanted to try something new because it looked really yummy, but it had way too much mustard, which I didn't really like. None of the food went to waste because I ate a part of it and I gave him the fast food to eat. I asked him if he was okay over text, but he's leaving me on delivered so far. There is a comment here, which is interesting. OP got asked, like, why didn't you buy the ice cream after he bought you the fast food? I'm saving my money for a car. He doesn't have his license yet, so he has more money to spend freely. But what's interesting, and it doesn't appear until the 10th comment, he did just lose his job, but he still has a bit saved up, and he doesn't really have any big expenses.
Aw, maybe he's going through a lot.
That's starting to add up why he cried.
Yeah.
Because, like, to spend your money on someone twice
that you love and care about, and then they're just kind of
throwing it away,
not
liking it. You lost your job. That could be, I know it's over like a $3 cone. But maybe that's his last $3. Like,
totally. Or it's just like the day in general.
Yeah.
Maybe she didn't say thank you, you know, and we don't know.
That bugs me so much.
Bugs me to my core. If you do not say thank you, I will never talk to you again.
I literally, if I go out to eat with someone and like it's like a first time going out to eat with them, like a new friend or a work person, if they don't say thank you to people, I write them off. And like the way you treat people and just so easy. It's 2 words.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Just like, hey, thank you. Like, even if you didn't like the food, thank you though for taking me out to dinner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Top comment. Where do you think this one went? Do you think you're the asshole? Not the asshole?
Not the asshole is probably where it went.
Really? Top comment?
Is you're the asshole?
You're the asshole.
For taking off peanuts?
You're the asshole. You, 1, he bought you food once that you wound up not eating. 2, you then complained about being hungry. 3, he then heard that and went to buy you more food, ice cream, which you then proceeded to Hulk smash in front of him. I get not liking nuts, but come on.
Hulk smash.
4, you somehow still didn't realize the multiple things you did, which are generally considered rude. 5, somehow you made you hurting his feelings into you being the victim. And 6, you wound up expecting an apology from him instead of the other way around. Also, did you even thank him a single time for all the food you wasted? Or did you just repeatedly ask for food and waste it in front of him?
Aw, okay. Well, when you put it like that.
Thank you,
top comment. Yeah.
I wonder if she said thank you.
Yeah, we don't really know. And we don't know if she was like complaining the whole way. We're only getting a snippet here.
I know.
Because it's like, okay, if they went to the first restaurant, she's like, I don't like this. And then afterwards, I'm so hungry. Like, yeah, I can understand.
I could see why he'd be just like at his wit's end.
Yeah, totally.
And guys can cry too. Like, there's no shame in that. I was initially very surprised over like
the ice cream cone.
You're crying over spilled milk in a sense. Like, that was odd. But if this is like, I'm just being kind of walked over. She's not gracious. She's entitled. I'm not getting a thank you. Like, I'd cry too. I've cried over less.
Oh, me too.
I've cried over a lot less.
Me too. Poor guy. It sounds like he's kind of going through it.
Definitely going through it.
Maybe they should go their own way and like figure life out. And then if it's meant to be, they'll reunite.
I don't think I'd make up over this one. I think you're just go.
Separate. Just tell people that. It makes them feel better. Like if it's meant to be, you'll come back together.
Yeah.
That way it doesn't sound so permanent.
I like that. Little hopeful over there.
I am.
A little hopeful.
Maybe I am.
There's some hope over there.
There is. That was fun. Those were some journeys we went on.
I'm not okay.
I'm like, okay, life's not that bad.
Man, someone just asked me the other day. It was a really good interview with a woman named Natalie. And she asked me, she was like, what do you think people get out of your podcast? And I was like, I think it's something for so many people. Like, it's something different for everyone. But I was like, I think one thing, and this just came to me recently, there's a saying where it's like, comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm-hmm.
This is the opposite. You might be comparing, but I hope it brings you joy instead of stealing it from you. But Bailey, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Where can everyone find you?
You can find me everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook,
Spotify,
Apple, Snapchat, Twitter, X, Threads,
TikTok,
hey. At Bailey Sarian.
Everywhere.
Yes. I'm everywhere and anywhere all the time.
Your content is so good. I just started the Aaron Hernandez one because it is football season and
football.
I'm diving into it. And that was a crazy case as well. So I will be sure to put all of Bailey's links in the description. Really easy to find. But make sure you go and give a watch if you haven't already, because I mean that auto one, the attic guy lived in the attic for 10 years. I will link that one. It's
nuts.
It's insane, you guys.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's so good. It was fun. No one dies. Good. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Someone does die. Because
someone dies. I mean, it is Murder Monday.
Murder, mystery, and makeup.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are stories where sometimes no one dies. And it's like those one-off stories.
Like I survived almost?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
And for a minute there, I thought this was one of those, but I forgot the husband dies.
He does die.
The sex guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awful.
Check it out for yourself.
Check it out. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been so good. Until next time, guys.
Bye.